Did I like this book? Maybe. Did I hate this book? No. Did I understand this book? No. Most definitely no. And will I recommend this to someone? Hmm. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Angie the Bookaholic. In this channel, I talk about books that I love, books that I hate, books that I'm reading, books that I've read, books that I'm planning to read, all things related to books, including movies and TV adaptations of books. So if those kind of content interest you, please subscribe to my channel and also please like, share, and comment. Today I'm going to talk to you about a book that I recently finished reading as part of my Dark Academia TBR for the month of August, and that is Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. I hope I have pronounced their names correctly. And this book was translated from Ukrainian to English by Julia Matov-Hersey, and it was published back in 2013, I think, and since then it's been a very popular book among book lovers. So what is this book about? It starts with our protagonist Sasha Samokina enjoying this great beach vacation with her mother, and she notices that she's being followed by this very conspicuous looking mysterious man with very pale skin and wearing pitch dark glasses. She tries to avoid him, and he never ceases to follow her, and when she tries to avoid him, she finds herself being trapped in a time loop where she wakes up to the same day, and then finally she decides to confront him, and there she is somehow coerced into doing this very mundane sounding tasks. For example, to get up 4 a.m. in the morning and do a skinny dipping, swim towards the boy near the ocean, and then swim back to the shore. So these kind of silly sounding tasks, but she is supposed to do it because if she doesn't do it, something really untoward will happen, not to her, but for somebody else surrounding her, somebody whom she loves. So she ends up doing it. As reward for these tasks, she pukes up gold coins and she starts collecting them. With the coin that she earns, she is more or less coerced by this guy, his name is Farid, to enroll herself into a very mysterious college called Institute of Special Technologies in a very remote part of the country called Torba. Once she reaches the institute and the classes starts, she realizes that the lessons are unconventional, they do not make sense, and the teachers are very strict in a horrific way, some of them very dictator-like, and the punishment for disobedience in that institute is also extreme, that something might happen towards your family members. So that's how the students are coerced into learning and studying in this institute out of fear. This is the basic premise of the story. Characters. Sasha is the main character in this novel, and she's a bubbly, ambitious, typical 16-year-old who is full of youthful life and dreams for future, right? And then comes Farid, who is this mysterious figure, who makes sure that she enrolls into this mysterious organization, and he is basically an asshole. He is a very cruel taskmaster slash overseer who coerces students into getting them to do what he wants them to do or the institute wants them to do. To what end, we do not know until the very end, I think. Yeah. And then you have another important character called Kostya. Kostya is Sasha's first friend in the institute and also maybe her first true love. And incidentally, he is also Farid's son. Apart from this, you have this host of students and teachers who will come and go and who are important to the story, but at the same time not important for this review. So yeah, I will skip over those, peripheral characters for now, but these are the main 3 characters that you need to know about in this story. But again, it's not important because this story or this novel is much more than just plot and character. It is very theme driven, and I will come to that very soon. Now, so what does the school teach us? Now, frankly, after reading 400 pages of this book, I'm still not sure. The glimpses of the text that we get, that the students are asked to read and study and learn and memorize, we get the peak of these texts and they absolutely make no sense at all. So let me read one passage. So what it came down to, Sasha thought, was this: that which we are forced to learn has meaning. We do not comprehend it, but it is not just brainwashing, not just cramming. Meaning seeps in through this sluggish mess, just like a three-dimensional image rises out of dots and squiggles. It's not a horse and definitely not a fir tree. Chances are this science cannot be described by a single word or even two words. Perhaps words that describe this science, this process, do not even exist. So this is Sasha trying to make sense of what she's memorizing. It's because most of these paragraphs or lessons that she's supposed to read and read over and over again and memorize do not make sense to her. But at some point, it's like she said, when a set of dots and squiggles, when you look at it long enough from the right perspective, you will get a three-dimensional image, something like that. So these set of nonsensical sentences tied together make sense when you look from a different peripheral and look at them for long enough. So this is basically how she's trying to make sense of the nonsensical text that she's supposed to learn. After finishing the book, I watched this review of this book by Fraser Simons, and I'm so thankful to Fraser for doing that review because it cleared up a lot of things for me. And when I looked back, a lot of things started to make sense. I'm sure I wouldn't have understood half of this book if not for that review. So I will link that video in the description below. Please do check it out. He has dissected the novel so brilliantly. It's wonderful. Go and check out his review. Now, before I get into more spoilery part of this review, I would like to give my rating for this book. I rated it 3. Now, the main reason I did that is because I feel there is much ambiguity regarding certain aspects of the book, like the magical system, the teaching method, and the ultimate goal of all the things that's unraveling, right? All these gruesome learning that the students are going through. What's the purpose at the end? That was still kind of not clear for me, even at the end. Now, if you love Eastern European magical realism genre, then you might enjoy this book. Personally, I'm very conflicted about my final evaluation of the book, mostly because my expectation of the book was okay, I'm looking down because I'm looking at my pointers. My expectation of the book was Harry Potter meets Hunger Games, but what we got is Sophie's World meets Murakami, and that's why I do not like this book, because that's not my genre, right? It is highly philosophical, introspective, with elements of magical realism and metaphysics. So there are a lot of elements which I normally do not expect in a book or do not like in my book. So it's my fault because I went in with completely different expectations of what this book might turn out to be. So if these elements are things that you like in your books, then go for it, because you're gonna absolutely love it. Coming to a spoilery part, so basically this is not that much of a spoiler. I'm just going to talk about how I exactly felt about this book in detail, and it doesn't give much away in regards to the book, but still, if you want to be completely blank when you get into the book and you're planning to read the book, then you can skip this part. That's why I included my rating already in the previous segment. Towards the end of this book, you'd start to get an understanding, a rudimentary or very limited understanding of what's happening. So basically, this world is made up of words and languages, and words and languages have the ability to shape, break, make the world. And the students in this institute are trained to turn themselves physically into words. So some of them become verbs, some of them become pronoun, etc., etc. Even if I understand the metaphysical element of this novel and the fact that the students are being trained to metamorphosize, disintegrate, and reintegrate into words of language, it's still it's not that clear to me. The whole purpose of this whole concept escapes me. And I have to admit, I have always had this hate-hate relationship with magical realism as a genre. This novel expects from me a suspense of disbelief, which I'm not usually used to, but I'm ready to invest. But where it failed is when it did not give me the satisfaction of a purpose for everything that's unraveling in this plot. Another thing that really turned me off is the fact that towards the second half of the book, the main character protagonist Sasha, she started to being much annoying. I started disliking her. She becomes this very unempathetic, rude, disinterested person who cares nothing about things around her or what's happening to other people. All she is focused is to study and study and then score good marks in her exams. So that's all her focus is, I think. Except for her mother, she loses any kind of emotional attachment. I couldn't relate to her, I couldn't empathize with her anymore towards the second half of the book. Consider this fact, she knows that her roommate has gone through horrific experience from Farid, which include sexual abuse, like trigger warning for rape, and she is bothered about her. She never even had the kindness to just go up to this girl and talk to her about it. She is completely detached emotionally, and maybe that is a temperament that Farid would have foreseen in her, which made him recruit her into this institute in the first place. Don't know, maybe. But Sasha became a character which I kind of started disliking. In fact, there are not many likable characters in this plot. I think my only favorite character is Kostya, who is Sasha's best friend, who is Farid's son, with some kind of humanity still left in him. And he is my favorite character in this entire book. If you are a person who loves Eastern European magical realism kind of genre, you're gonna love this book. That was not my genre, and that's why maybe I did not like it, and my expectations were completely different from what the book is all about. So it is nothing to do with the book, maybe it's all about my expectations and my likings, right? If you are a person who love magical realism, metaphysical elements in your book, and a little bit ambiguity where you don't want everything explained to you, then you might enjoy this book because the writing is brilliant. Like I said, if I had read it in Ukrainian, I would have loved it more maybe, but still the translator has done a wonderful job. It is very engaging, it is very atmospheric. So if those are things that interest you, please go ahead and pick up this book. Also check out reviews from other channels, especially by Fraser Simons. He has dissected the plot and the themes so very well, which made me understand the book much better. That was my quick review of Vita Nostra. If you liked it, please give this video a thumbs up, and also please subscribe to my channel. I will see you soon in another video. This is Angie signing off. Bye bye.